There are red flags that Christians ignore because of feelings, thereby causing them to take the decision of going into marriage or marry that person in who or whom they see these red flags and end up not having the kind of marriage they always envisioned. So hi, my name is Fachbold and I enjoy talking about godly relationships. Let's get right into the video. So here are 6 red flags Christians ignore because of feelings. The red flag one, this person doesn't lead you closer to God. How? They say they love God, but prayer, with church are not priorities for them. Because every time you just keep hoping you would inspire them spiritually, you just keep hoping that something you'd inspire them. And so time keeps going. There's year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4. You're still in that relationship and hoping to be, some spiritual inspiration to them. No effort to, no effort to wanting to serve God better, no effort to wanting to build their personal relationship with God. So here's the solution for you as a believer. Don't date for potential. Choose alignment in faith and in discipline. Red flag 2 is disrespect marked as honesty. Now, this is how it works. They are rude to you, dismissive, or emotionally harsh, and then they call it being real, right? They hurt your feelings so much, and they just call it, "Oh, I'm just being real. I don't pretend." And there's no caution as to whatever they say to you. It's actually disrespect being labeled as honesty. I simply need you to know that love is kind, and what's happening there is I love. Okay, it's disrespect quoted as honesty. Red flag 3. Not many people would like to hear this, but it is what it is. Compromise of sexual boundaries. They constantly push limits and make holiness feel old fashioned. Yeah. You feel guilty, but you stay because of emotional attachment. Now, because you've emotionally attached yourself with these people, you don't want to hurt them because, oh, how they're going to feel. So you keep breaking those principles and you just keep, oh, I don't want them to feel hurt. And so just keep going on to fulfill the sexual desires. So because of emotional attachment, you've succumbed yourself to fulfilling their desires. You just need to know this. Anyone who honors God will honor your boundaries. That's the truth. Red flag 4, no accountability or spiritual covering. It's not mental. And you ignore this because you believe love alone would change them. No, love alone cannot change this. But people don't have the accountability. You're just going to keep talking and talking and talking and keep making complaints. They're not going to change. But when they are accountable to a person, somebody's able to call them to order. You might not have the influence enough because emotions are attached to be able to bring these people into accountability. And so that's why there's a necessity to have a mentor or a pastor or them paying attention to godly counsel. So you need to know that a teachable heart matters more than sweet words. Right? If a person is not teachable, it's a total waste of time listening to their sweet words because they never really keep to their sweet words. But when they are teachable, they can easily keep to those sweet words. Sweet words now water for person when know they are accountable. 5. Inconsistent character. Their words sound godly, but their character doesn't match at all. It doesn't match their words. Like you bring their words, you bring their character, they go in opposite direction. And so you keep holding on to their promises instead of the patterns in which they walk in. They just keep making promises which come by words, but they never act on it, which shows the pattern, right? So instead of you paying attention to the patterns, you end up paying attention to the promises which are being made or said to you. So what you do here is watch their fruits. Consistency reveals the truth. Red flag 6. Peace is missing, but attraction is strong. You feel anxious, confused, or unsettled, but yet you're deeply drawn to this person. And now you ignore God's warnings because the emotions are loud. They are all high. And so it's just so hard for you to hear him properly. And many times, even when you hear him, many times, even when we hear him, we just choose to stick to our emotions instead of what God is saying. Sometimes God even goes as far as giving us a sign. But because emotions are so high and so involved, we just decide to stick to the emotions or we try to infuse God's sign into our emotions and we just say, oh, maybe God did just show me this because I need to be more lenient with him or her, because I need to give them more room, I need to give them more grace. Do you understand? The Bible made it clear that should we continue in sin that grace may abound? Should you continue accepting the red flag that grace may abound? Come on in. That's not God's plan for you. So you need to know that God's will brings you peace and not persistent confusion. There's persistency in the level of confusion you are in. When you're always confused, and even when you try to look for little peace in that relationship, it's just so hard. You can't find it. You just keep going from one state of confusion to the other. You don't need a prophet to come tell you that you don't need to be in such relationship. The red flags are so obvious, but you're trying to shrink them to look so to look so minor or probably invisible. And so you feel you can manage it, you feel you can just deal with them, and just get married. Someday this person's gonna change. Someday the red flags will suddenly disappear. Because red flags will always be red flags. So the earlier you see them, the earlier you accept that this is what they are and move away, the better.